In 1978, Scottish singer-songwriter Al Stewart was more popular than ever. 11 years into his recording career, he released his eighth studio album, Time Passages, produced by Alan Parsons, and from that album, the mysterious track Life in Dark Water.
Oh, come away from the day here I stay living on the bottom of the sea.
Let's take apart the arrangement right here. We've got these open cadences that begin with this dark boom, these sustained notes, and then this slight kind of light liquidy guitar lines. And then, of course, just the beauty of his voice, that softness, airy, angelic type voice.
Down metal snake corridor, steely gray, engines hum, but nobody but me. No sound comes from the sea above me. No message crackles through the radio leaves. They'll never know how strange life and dark water can be.
I love the way he just kind of floats along these chords with his voice, like, they'll never know, never know, never know. Let's take apart some of the lyrics here. Oh, come away from the day, here I stay, living on the bottom of the sea. Down metal snake corridors, steely gray, engines hum for nobody but me. So he's talking about being like on a down ship. There have been a few different explanations of this track, but I'll get to that in a minute. No sound comes from the sea above me. No messages crackles through the radio leads. They'll never know, never how strange life in dark water can be. About a submarine that's lost its signal and is sinking. O mariners, spare a thought when you pass those who live the submarine life. Far in the deep, sonar eyes never sleep, hiding like a shadow in the night. Jet planes nose through the clouds above me. They look for radar traces of me to see. They'll never know, never how strange life in dark water can be.
Oh, mariners, spare a thought when you pass the Sula, the submarine line. Fire in the deep, sonar eyes never sleep, hiding like a shadow in the night. Jet planes nose through the clouds above me. They look for radar traces of me to see. They'll never know how strange life in dark water can be.
This whole arrangement, the sound of it all, the open cadences, the darkness of it all, really does, the liquidy touches, really does convey a sense of being trapped, miles below surface level.
Wonder what the stars look like coming out tonight. Tell my girl she must be strong. She sits and waits all night long. Yeah, you're just looking for a better day. She'll have to find another way to go.
Okay, wonder what the stars look like coming out tonight. Tell my girl she must be strong. She sits and waits all night long, just looking for a better day. She'll have to find another way to go. So she is holding. She doesn't hasn't heard the news yet. She's just waiting for him to return, and he's just hoping that she'll be able to carry on without him, knowing that he's not going to be able to return. And let's take a look at some of the other credits on here. Bass by Robin Lamble. Interesting. That guy was in Byzantium. Yeah, with Chaz Jankel and a couple other guys. Who was the? Yeah, Stephen Cordiner, who later turned up in Nasty Pop. Um, and let's see, drums, Stuart, Elliot, and yeah, Cockney Rebel. Keyboards, let's see, a couple of keyboards, Peter Wood and Peter White. Didn't specify which one on here necessarily. Oh, steel guitar, Al Perkins. I don't think that's what I'm hearing here. Oh, American guy. Yeah, he was in He was in Stephen Still's Manassas. Yeah, I don't think that's not who we're hearing here though. Art Tripp, percussion. Got a lot of people on here. Okay, I think the guy that I'm looking for. I was going to think. Is that Tim Renwick doing the? He's not. No. It's not specifying who does A3. Maybe it is Al Perkins. Or maybe that's just Al Stewart, for all I know. But the lavishness is thanks to the combined, genius, the dream team of string arranger Andrew Powell and producer Alan Parsons. I mean, those two were synonymous with English maximalism during the 70s.
No memory, tell me what's wrong with me. Why am I alone here with no rest? And now the name of the ship is not the same. How long has it been, Mary Celeste? Now there's nobody from the crew left. 500 years supply of food just for me.
Now we're telling a slightly different story. It's no longer about a submarine. Now it's about the Mary Celeste. And that's the other explanation that I told you that I was going to be getting to later. Yeah, it's, I guess it's supposed to be different vignettes of being lost at sea. Because, Mary Celeste was a much different story than say, being trapped and drowned in a submarine that loses its functions and loses its contacts and with loses its signals and and floods. The Mary Celeste was a ship that was abandoned at sea for reasons unknown. And the ship was in perfect condition. It had a full food supply, had all kinds of amenities on board. Um, and I guess there are a few inaccuracies in the lyric, or maybe there was. I was just reading an explanation before I put this on that he got a few facts wrong when he introduced this at a concert or something because it was the pre-internet era and people couldn't quite get there. He had mistaken that Al Stewart was under the impression that the Mary Celeste was abandoned with meals half consumed, and that isn't. From what I've read elsewhere, the Mary Celeste had like all this food on it, like that was unconsumed and perfect condition and just well, like basically it was a perfect ship, and whoever was on board it should have stayed on it. They actually do know the crew. It was logged in New York, and the ship was taken and recommissioned, and ultimately ran aground like about 13 years later, maybe 20 years. I think that the Mary Celeste was like 1782 or 1782. Yeah. Now there's nobody from the crew. 500 years supply of food just for me. They'll never know, never how strange life in dark water can be.
They'll never know how strange life in dark water can be. They'll never know how strange life in dark water can be.
Oh, those shimmery sustains at the end with those droplets. Oh, that dark atmosphere of the track just puts me into a trance. Al Stewart, Life in Dark Water, from the Scottish singer-songwriter's 1978 album, Time Passages. Arguably his best. Well, there are several albums that could credibly be called his best that kind of compete for the honor. That being one of several standout, ultimate, like, super reds from the album. Produced by Alan Parsons and having very similar sound and feel to the album that Alan Parsons put out that year, Pyramid, which has some great tracks of similar quasi-symphonic fullness to them, like the John Miles sung Shadow of a Lonely Man, one of my favorite songs from that year, and something I'm going to have to do very soon. For more, and one more thing. I was trying to think, how many songs have I heard that had to do with historical maritime disasters or maritime mysteries, in the case of the Mary Celeste? I'm thinking the song by Elvis Costello, Last Boat Leaving, which appeared on his 1989 album Spike. I always suspected that song to have been sung from the point of view of a rank and file passenger on the Titanic who was saying goodbye to his son before his son boarded a lifeboat with his mom. There's this one line in that song that, to the effect, uh, you'll read about me in history books, son, only they won't mention my name. Meaning it was like a historical, it was a sinking, it was a tragedy that was gonna make headlines, that was gonna be big, that was never gonna be, that was ultimately gonna become the stuff of legend. But and he would be part of the number, part of just the big number of casualties. Um, yeah, I always suspect. Although I've done searches on the internet, like with that title, like "Last Boat Leaving Titanic," and have never come up with any relevant matches. It seems like no one else drew that conclusion about that song. It was like 30 years ago when I bought the album. I was like reading the lyrics along as I listened, and I instantly thought this is about the Titanic. And I asked a few people, read these lyrics. What do you think this is about? And they wouldn't get it, and I would say, "Come on, think," and then I would finally just let them know what my theory. Yeah, I'm still wondering. I'd like to ask him. Anyway, Al Stewart. For more rubies and sapphires from Scottish artists like Al Stewart and other artists across the musical spectrum from Scotland, see the directory of albums by Scottish artists linked in the description below, where you can find albums by our guy here, as well as Alex Harvey, Tear Gas, Simple Minds, The Skids, Thomas Lear, Barbara Dixon, The Associates, Jerry Rafferty, The Incredible String Band, um, The Average White Band, Endgames, Bread and Love and Dreams, yeah, a Beggar's Opera. Yeah, the Scottish music scene was quite healthy and thriving throughout, like between the 70s and 80s. Aztec Camera, Altered Images. Yeah, see the directory of albums by Scottish artists linked in the description below for rubies and sapphires from all those artists I just mentioned. Like and subscribe, follow me on social media, and leave a comment if there are any observations you have about these lyrics, the song, its arrangement, its atmospherics, anything you may have been able to have pinpointed that I didn't quite identify. And until next time, this is Zaragon, the world's most air-traveled trimaximalist, signing off.